making waves on the campaign train. Please welcome Andrew Yang.
You come from a business background, so why run for president as your first foray into politics?
Well, it wasn't my first choice, honestly.
Okay.
But we're going through the greatest economic transformation in the history of our country, and for some reason we're blaming immigrants for things that immigrants have nothing to do with. So I'm running for president to fix the problems that got Donald Trump elected in the first place, including the fact that we got rid of 4 million manufacturing jobs in the Midwest, which helped get him elected.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure to applaud for that. I mean, it's...
Right. Well, I want to understand your signature proposal is called the Freedom Dividend, and I want to know exactly what is it, and why do you think that this is going to help everyday people?
Well, it's not my idea. Martin Luther King championed it in the 60s. It's a policy where every American adult gets $1,000 a month to do whatever you want, free and clear. And this is going to help all of us transition in the 21st century, but it also makes us stronger, healthier, mentally healthier, less stressed out, and helps us do the kind of work that we want to do.
Who's going to pay for it, though?
Well, it's certainly not going to be the people here at this table. You have a $1 trillion tech company, Amazon, right now, closing 30% of our stores and malls, literally paying zero in taxes. So if you give the American people our fair share of every Amazon sale, every Google search, every Facebook ad, we can easily afford a dividend of $1,000 a month for every American.
So as president, you would make them pay for this?
Yeah. You know, you can't have a $1 trillion tech company paying zero in taxes. And what I'm saying is it's not their fault, it's our fault. We've set up a really easy-to-game system, and we need to make it as smart as the tech companies.
Wow. In the last debate, you said your campaign will raffle off 10 freedom dividends that will be financed by campaign donations from supporters. Have you put that plan into effect?
I have, and it's so much fun calling people to let them know that they just won $1,000 a month for a year. I've been making those calls over the last number of days, and people have cried tears of joy. People have been completely shocked and in disbelief. So it's been a lot of fun. I've personally been giving families around the country $1,000 a month for the last several months. And seeing the change it's had on their way of life and outlook in their family life, it just makes you want to do it for all Americans, which we can do.
It's like we do something called the Hotline Bling, and we give away $500 to $1,000, and people feel real good about it.
Yeah, it's like that.
You know, it's a very ambitious plan, what you have, Mr. Yang, but people are debating whether it's legal because the federal election law says you cannot use campaign funds for personal use. So it says that maybe you're violating the law. What is your response to that?
Well, I've been giving some of these families money out of my own pocket for a number of months. And you have to think about our system, where if we raise $1 million from donors and I gave it to a media company for advertising or to consultants or to pay a bunch of canvassers, everyone would say that's A-OK. But if I simply give it to American families to improve their own lives, that's somehow problematic. It's kind of a ridiculous standard, though I'm happy to say it's totally legal.
You think it's totally legal?
Oh, yeah, we have an army of expensive lawyers who signed off on it and said it's totally legal.
You know they'll take it to the Supreme Court, though.
I look forward to arguing that because we're going to win.
So let's move on to healthcare, which is a major concern nowadays. Do you support Medicare at all, like a lot of your fellow candidates?
Oh, yeah. We have this messed up system in the U.S. where when we get sick or injured, we're more stressed out about paying for it or navigating our crazy bureaucracy than actually getting well. And so I'm for Medicare for all. We need to get health care off the backs of the families and businesses.
Yeah, stop making it like this.
Now, another hot-button issue this campaign is, of course, immigration. You have strong opinions on the matter. What are they?
I'm the son of immigrants myself. I believe that immigrants make our country stronger and more dynamic. So we have to create a path forward for all of the immigrants who are here trying to create a better life for themselves and their families. And this was a bipartisan stance not that long ago, before the Republicans lost their guts on this issue, that we have to have a path forward for people who are here and undocumented.
question. When it comes to your freedom dividend, I know another idea is raising the minimum wage to $15. How do you feel about that? And is your freedom dividend better than that idea? How's it correlated?
No one should be working full-time and be poor in this country.
Right.
But raising the minimum wage would do nothing for women like my wife, who's at home with our 2 boys, one of whom is autistic. And I know she's working much harder than I am, but we don't consider her work a job right now. So if you have a freedom dividend of $1,000 a month, $12,000 a year, that helps parents and caregivers, as well as people who are working full-time jobs, because everyone gets a $12,000 a year raise.
Well, we've got a lot more to chat about with Andrew Yang, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. This is The Real.
Welcome back. We're still here talking with Democratic presidential candidate Andrew Yang.
So the biggest news right now is the impeachment inquiry against President Trump. So do you think this is... So our real fan has spoken. Do you think that this is the right move?
I do. Impeachment is the right move. I do think, though, that every moment we spend focusing on Donald Trump is a win for him, even we're talking about impeaching him. And so we need a new vision that Americans can get excited about. That's how we're going to beat him in 2020.
There are 19 Democratic presidential candidates. What is your game plan for winning this election?
Well, I was as high as 4th in a recent national poll, and my campaign's one of only a couple of campaigns that's been consistently growing and gaining momentum the whole time. So we're going to grow and grow and grow. We're going to peak at the exact right time early next year.
But realistically, let's say you don't get the presidential nomination. Would you be willing to take the vice president nomination?
I'm running to help solve the problems that got Donald Trump elected, and I don't have some deep, burning, a long-standing desire to be president. I just want to contribute. So if it's as president, fantastic. If it's in some other role, that's great too.
Daddy, you just want to do your part.
I just want to do my part. I'm a parent. I'm an American. I'm a patriot. We just got to get some work done.
Could you explain what the math means for our viewers?
Well, one of our big lines on the trail is the opposite of Donald Trump is an Asian man who likes math. But math is also an acronym that stands for Make America Think Harder.
Hey.
Which is what we have to do to start focusing on the real problems on the ground. The fact that stores and malls are closing, and the most common job in most of the country is being a retail clerk. The average retail clerk is a 39-year-old woman making between $9 and $11 an hour. So when those stores close, what is her next move going to be? We have to focus on those problems if we're going to actually move our country forward.
Okay. So how do you plan on getting the support of President Trump's voters?
Well, because I'm so focused on these kitchen table economic issues, I'm one of only 2 candidates in the field that 10% or more of Donald Trump voters said they would support in the general election. I'm beating Donald Trump head-to-head by 8 points in the swing states. And so as people realize that I'm the strongest nominee to take on Donald Trump in the general election, Democrats are going to get more and more excited. The fact that I'm as sure a bet as there is in the field.
You have 2 kids, ages 4 and 6. Do they even realize
So
that
cute.
their father,
Oh my gosh.
so cute, that their father is running for president?
They really do not have any clue, I have to say. I mean, my 6-year-old is on the autism spectrum, so he's a little bit more in his own world than other 6-year-olds. My 4-year-old has no clue at all. He's more concerned about Paw Patrol and watching Daddy, which is fine by me. I mean, though they asked, like, why are you away so much, Daddy? And I was like, Daddy has a very big deadline coming up.
It looks like you're having an absolute blast on the campaign trail. We have some B-roll of you we want to show. What's been your favorite part so far being on this trail?
That's funny. I remember that.
What is this?
That was me crowd surfing at an event in California. Actually, some people crowd surfed at the rally last night in L.A.
Was that your first time doing that, or is that...
I crowd surfed a lot as a kid. I went to rock concerts and got up there.
Like, that's your thing. Like, that's what you do.
Yeah, I mean, I went to I went to the first 3 Lollapaloozas and stuff like that. Well, I've been having a blast on the trail, just meeting Americans in every walk of life and spreading the message that we can do much, much better for ourselves if we just rewrite the rules of our economy to work for us. And giving people money, I have to say, it puts a smile on your face and theirs.
Well, Angie, thank you so much for joining us today. It was a pleasure speaking with you, and good luck on the campaign.
You're going to see much more of me. Thank you all. Gratitude.
We've got to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere because we'll be right back.
I love that they gave him the time and they let him talk. It's beautiful. I did not know he was on the reel this morning. I'm actually subscribed to, they're called a Zach and Matt show. Yeah, I'm subscribed to them. They put it up. I tried getting other people to hear about him, but people are stupid where I live, and I live near Santa Monica. So I can't force people to listen to what he has to say. I tried, believe me, I tried, but I'm still listening to him. I'm gonna look up more interviews in the future. I'm a supporter, but I don't give out information. I look for other people. Just want to let you guys know. There are other things I like, but he's the only person that I actually will watch interviews for. Just want to let you know. Yeah, I'm not for info. I'm for reaction. Just letting you know again. Love this interview, and it's a fresh air for sure.